Hello, Tenfold. My name is Tabo from the east side. I'm stuck with this question here, and I'd really like your help. Please help. Thank you.
Have a look at what we have. Question: ABCD is a quadrilateral with vertices A, B, C, and D. So the first question I'm already thinking about is they're gonna want me to find the coordinates of C. That's one of the things I'm already thinking about before even doing the question. Now that's what I have there. So this is a quadrilateral and it has all those vertices. So let's have a look. They didn't tell us what quadrilateral it is. So we'll look at that as we continue. The first question: determine the coordinates of E, the midpoint of BD. So I will then say ME there will be x of B plus x at D divided by 2, y at B plus y at D divided by 2, right? And then this will then be, what I have is x at B is 2 plus x at D is 5 divided by 2, and then y at B is 4, and then y at D will be minus 1 divided by 2. And then this one will be M of E is 7 over 2 and 3 over 2. So that would be the midpoint of that. So I will just write it here, that this is 7 over 2 and also 3 over 2. The second question will then say, determine the coordinates of C. So I want the coordinates of C. Remember, I told you that that's one of the questions you need to think about. Now, guys, this is what is happening. If you look at mathematics, it is a hierarchy of questions, especially when you get to the geometry part. So I firstly asked you about the midpoint. It means that this question might need you to use the midpoint in solving it. So let's have a look at how exactly you're going to use the midpoint, because if I have two diagonals bisecting each other like this, I find the midpoint of this one, it means I know the midpoint of this one as a result. So if I know the midpoint of this, I can then find out what are the 2 points that gave me this midpoint that I have. So that's one of the things that you guys need to know. So let's have a look at it. So I already know the midpoint here. This midpoint is 7 over 2 and 3 over 2. So that's the midpoint there. But what I want to try and find here is the C. But I know that C is on the x-axis. So already I know that I have the y value as being 0. So that's the first thing that I already know. So I just need to find the x value. To find the x value, I will then say x at E is equals to the x at A plus the x at C divided by 2, because that's how I find the x value of the midpoint, which is E. Then the x at E is 7 over 2, which will be equals to, this will be divided by 1, by the way, will be equals to the x at A is 1 plus the x that I do not know divided by 2. And then 2 multiplied by 7 over 2 will be 7. So I have 1 plus x is equals to 7. Then I have x is equals to 6. And then lastly, therefore, the coordinates of C will then be 6 and 0. Please, guys, remember, one of the things that we are very strict on is when we're marking your papers, we do not just mark because we think we understand what you're doing. If you don't say what we wanted you to say, then it's a problem. So here they wanted you to find the coordinates. So after finding the x value, you then need to go back and write it in coordinate form, because we wanted you to find coordinates, not really the x coordinate or the y coordinate. So you need to go back and write it in the form of a coordinate form, and then you can then continue with everything. So let's go into the next question. The next question then says, show that ABCD is a rectangle. Now, showing that ABCD is a rectangle, one of the things that I know about a rectangle is that this side and that side must be equal to each other. So that's one of the things that I can talk about. Or I can try and show that the vertices here are 90 degrees. So there's quite a few properties of a rectangle that you can try and do here. And then the other thing is, you know that the diagonals bisect each other, which we already have spoken about with the previous question. So here what we can just do is we can so much just find what the length of DC is, and which must be equal to the length of AB, and vice versa with BC and AC. So that's one of the things that we can do with this particular question. So what I will then do here is I will say AC is then equals to, or not AC, AD rather, AB. I will say AB is equals to the square root of, quickly I'll have 2 minus 1 all squared plus 4 minus 3 all squared. And then this will be equals to 2 minus 1 is 1, that is 1 as well, so this will be square root of 2. And then I will then go to my DC. DC will be equals to the square root of, what I have here is the x value at C will be 6 minus 5, and then plus, this is squared, this is 0 minus 1, so it's plus 1 squared, and this will also be a square root of 2. So that's one of the things that I have there. And then lastly, I can then look at the two sides, this side and that side, and try and show it. So from there, you will then say, therefore, A, B, C, D is a rectangle. So that's what I can then do there. Now, the next question will then be calculate the area of that. So that's why I was saying to you, you need to find the length, right? Because now they're wanting the area. So the area, remember, the area of a rectangle will be equals to length multiplied by breadth, right? So length is a distance, breadth is a distance. So this will be my breadth and that will be my length. So I need to find those. Remember, we found this to be equals to the square root of 2. Now let's just find what BC is, and then we use that. So BC will be equals to the square root of, the x at C is 6 minus 2 all squared plus 0 minus 4 all squared. And then this is equals to 6 minus 2 will be 4. 4 squared will be 16. So I have 16 plus also 16 there into a square root, and this will be equals to square root of 32, which is equals to 4 root of 2. And therefore, the area will then be equals to, length, we said it's 4 root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 2. And this will be equals to 4 square root of 2 multiplied by 2, which is the same as 4 square root of 4. And therefore, it's going to be 4 multiplied by 2, which is equals to 8 square units. So I'll just say SU. So that's what I have there. Now, guys, what I was just trying to do here is find the midpoint, use the midpoint to find the coordinates, find the distance, and use the distance to find the area. So all of these things are just a hierarchy that you guys need to please be aware of. And then everything else will just be basic analytical geometry that I believe you guys have been doing since grade 10. Right now, I'm going to go into another ad break, and I'll be back with some more questions.